welcome to the World Sports Show. Charlie Flowe here with John DiCriscio, and we have two guests in the studio from Philadelphia University, Mando, Canela, and Seiji Roach. Thank you for joining us, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us here.
So, Halloween, guys. This is a very, very exciting night. John and I are dressed in costumes. I think these guys are college guys for Halloween. John is in, we'll have to take some photos, put them up on the social media sites that we have. John is in full, I don't know if you're a zombie or a guy or a raccoon or a, I don't know what it is. You got yellow, pink. What is it?
I can't tell you. I can't let the cat out of the bag yet. At the end of the show, everybody's going to find out.
So definitely an exciting night. You know, it's good to be on Halloween. I'm dressed up as a happy elf, you know, that I dressed up at Saturday night. I figure why not? You know, it's radio, so you got to look your best. I'm going to bring my best game tonight, Halloween. So some favorite memories of Halloween and sports. You know, it's interesting. It's on Monday night and always some sports related to, like, people like to dress up whenever there's a Halloween related game. A lot of the people in different sporting events yesterday I saw dressed up in all different type of outfits. What's your go-to costume, John? Like, what's your favorite?
My go-to costume in studio or in stadium?
In stadium. Favorite costume in stadium. We'll go around the circle for everybody to get in on this.
My favorite on televised, I was getting a kick out of the ketchup in the mustard bottle. I believe it was a Patriots game. That was a good little touch.
Man. Ketchup and mustard bottle. How about you, CG? Some of your favorite? I don't know. How big do they celebrate Halloween in France? You're from France. How big is it celebrated there?
Well, to be honest with you, not really big. I don't think when you're a kid, you go get candies at the doors, you know, but after a while you stop and...
But you still dress up for it, though, right?
No, actually...
You just show up and get candy?
Oh, no, yeah, definitely. You have to dress up.
Okay, I was about to say, you guys are skipping a step.
No, you have to, yeah. Or else you don't get the candy. And, but you stop doing it. It gets really serious in America. I like it. Like, on campus, even... Everyone is...
Yeah, Halloween parties. People will go, all out. I mean, people will spend...
Like, it's a 4-day thing, you know? There's 4 parties and there's 4 different costumes and it's crazy.
Just pack your bag, you know? So, well, Mando's from Massachusetts, so it can be quite chilly in Halloween. I'm sure you did some trick-or-treating. There's probably snow on the ground.
Oof, no, not quite, actually. It's actually kind of like here in Philly. Not as bad. Actually, a little colder. But, Halloween back home, I miss it.
Yeah.
You know, you miss it as a kid. But
I don't think you ever actually stop missing it as a grown-up. It's one of the times where I wish I could just be a kid for the day, just for hours, go out and get candy and not have to be harassed. And
I grab my nephews and I force them to go Halloween with me so I can get their candy.
That's a good uncle, man.
I know, right? Uncle of the year.
My last thing about Halloween is I had a lot of older kids tonight.
Yeah.
Especially high school kids.
Like pushing it, right?
Pushing it. They were lacking the costume. Like, be creative, kids. Don't just have the high school shirt on. So
I'm a high school student.
Right. So my idea is they got the soy sauce packet tonight. They thought they were getting a Reese's cup, but they got soy sauce.
Just throw it in their bag really quick, you know.
That's exactly what I did.
Another thing that blew my mind, you know, that I picked up some pencils and erasers, you know, because I work at a school, and I thought, what the heck? Dude, the pencils and erasers went faster than the candy.
What?
That's something I did not expect. So, hey, there's hope for America out there, man. Right. Kids grabbing that. And I remember, I don't know why, but I always find the costumes with the people wearing the, I guess, really, what do you call it, like the from the Always Sunny in Philadelphia, that show, the people that wear the whatever Green Man outfits.
Yeah,
those are always fun.
Suit.
Yeah, so and I did see when they had NFL was in London yesterday. A bunch of Bengals guys were dressed like Tiger. It looked like straight off the cast of Wizard of Oz. I mean, that's a little stretching at painting your face like a tiger, but hey, you got some TV time.
That's it.
That's for sure.
All about that 15 seconds and 15 minutes of fame. Well, 15 seconds or 15 minutes, however you cut it, right?
If they would only made some kicks yesterday in Wembley Stadium, and they're missing kicks. But we'll talk about those.
Yeah, that's funny. Is we are a soccer-based show, but seeing guys miss 4 field goals in Wembley Stadium.
Oh man.
I mean, that's pretty much. I mean, that's what we've seen. You know, Beckham doing PKs, but at least he got it between the bars.
Yep.
So a lot to talk about tonight. We a little bit looking at last week. We were addressing some of Jill Ellis's change for the U.S. women's soccer. We'll touch on that. She released her recent roster for the upcoming games against Romania. So we'll break that down a little later in the show. We'll go over the mailbag in. A lot of great questions last week, but it is Halloween, so we're going to have a semi-Halloween themed mailbag this week. Still keep it soccer, but also keep it Halloween, because not every year you get the broadcast on Halloween. We might not be doing this till another 7 years, John.
Yeah, I can't remember our last Halloween broadcast.
I don't know if we've had one. I think that leap year throws us off every once in a while when we get shafted.
That's right.
So next time we'll do this, we'll all be retired, right? 7 years from now?
Yeah, right.
That's the plan, to be retired and living it up. We also talked about the Philadelphia Unity Cup, and the final will be this Saturday. We'll break down the final, the two teams, and we're going to talk here who we think we're going to win. So definitely a wide open thing. So that'll be exciting. Last week we talked about the Philadelphia Union entering the MLS playoffs. That happened last Wednesday. We'll break that down, and the playoffs are now past in the MLS, the knockout stage, and now they are deep into the regular two-leg playoff schedule. So a lot to talk about. So we're going to keep it rolling. We'll also talk about men and women's soccer on the college level. A couple of the Philadelphia area teams are going to be in action this week, and our team, Philadelphia University, has got a massive playoff game tomorrow at Georgian Court. We'll break that down a little bit, and we'll also talk about Westchester women. They're ranked in the top 3, number 3 in the country. We'll talk about that. And St. Joe's women on the D1 side are making some waves on the women's side. So, but not a lot of the men's team in the D1 in this area are really making a lot of national ripples, but definitely fighting to try to get at least their conference title and having a long shot at a bid.
That's right. It's not too late to send some emails into the mailbag@worldsportshow.com. We still check it during there. We can possibly get you on. Send us some good questions. We talk anything. Soccer, throw some Halloween, throw some pictures. We can't put a picture on the radio, but, we do talk, give us some funny stories, make us laugh, and we'll try and get you on.
Recipes. Remember, we always take recipes.
Always take recipes.
Always take recipes. Email in your recipes, mailbag@worldsportshow.com. So, a lot to talk about in the soccer world. It's an exciting time of the year. Like I said, MLS playoffs are going on. EPL's in full swing. All the other European leagues. We got Champions League. This is the time where, if you're a soccer fan, this is the best time of the year.
It's all going on.
Oh, man, it's amazing.
Day, night, DVR's loaded for the weekends.
So, and we have some other big breaking women's news that I just read about this weekend that we'll break here on the show for you guys involving the Aussies. So, always good to touch base with what's going on down under. And shout out to James Galanis out there. I know he's doing the trick-or-treating with the kids tonight, but he'll be back in studio soon joining us.
It's good.
Yeah.
Good to hear from him. Can't wait. I'm sure the listeners out there can't wait.
Yeah. I mean, his Australian accent's authentic. When we just do it, it's just faking.
You sound Scottish.
I wasn't even trying to do Australian. I didn't.
When you do,
when I do, it
Scottish.
just changes.
Yeah,
and whenever I do Canadian, it turns Scottish.
Yeah.
or Irish. I try to do either
Horrible,
one. It
man.
just horrible accents. We'll have to hashtag that one. So, well, like I said, our in-studio guests tonight are Mando. I always want to call you Armando, but real name's Armando, but goes by Mando Canela from Philadelphia University. He's a senior there, wears the captain's armband. And Seiji Rhodes from France, who is just our free kick specialist. So we're going to break it down later and talk to them about their experience in being in college. But first topic tonight, we're going to tackle the Philadelphia Unity Cup. I think that Jim Kenney, being a new mayor, sometimes you got to do things when you're a mayor to get the attention, but I think this was one of his best moves. I mean, it's just how you really bring a city together. You have Philadelphia is what they call a city of neighborhoods.
That's right.
And if you look down the break up the neighborhoods, there are, I live in South Philly myself, that there are so many different like Latino neighborhoods, Asian neighborhoods, African neighborhoods, that it's kind of neat that we all share the bond of soccer. And what a great way to put together 32 teams representing 32 different nations and playing a World Cup style tournament that started back in September. And they played a lot of games up in North Philly at Temple. Temple's got the new soccer complex. That's one of the places to be now. I mean, with Temple having to play out in Ambler years ago, now being here right in the city, that really just ups the popularity in soccer, especially in North Philly, that when you have soccer in the inner cities of America, that's the part that needs to grow. We've seen it for years be a sport of the suburbs, but now that we're starting to see soccer complex built inner cities, like we got Chester down there, they've got the complexes down there. Love what they're doing down in Chester, and they're looking to build more facilities for the kids. And now you got North Philly with a facility, and just this idea of bringing together an amateur team. See, it's not professional like with the World Cup; they're all professional style players, but these are amateur guys like me and John. Actually, might have a shot. I don't know which nation we'd be. I mean,
You stumped me there.
I'm trying to think of, because we're not good enough for U.S., but I wouldn't say we need to create a nation, but I mean, one of the ongoing jokes.
We might have to buy an island to be on a team.
Buy an island. Well, I've always joked that we should start Antarctica FC. They're the only continent not represented in FIFA.
You got to
Antarctica. There's
might work in the Olympics, but I don't know about FIFA.
seven continents, and only 6 are represented by FIFA. You know.
But the one thing that, a common bond between the Chester and the new complex is you do have the ethnic food. You got the food trucks. You got your mobile food stores. We talk about food.
Oh my
sports
God,
go hand in hand.
Yeah,
you
soccer
got your
and
crafts,
food.
and you got your arts coming in and music. There's also going to be music played at the fest, and it's free. You can't. I mean, that's their marketing thing, that they want it to be free. And it's just good. It's just show up, and it's a family-oriented event. And I think bringing the kids down there is the biggest benefit. Seeing kids saying that, hey, if we play, you actually have a big stage. I mean, what bigger stage in Philadelphia than one of the major stadiums in South Philly?
I mean, if you look at it, that Citizens Bank holds about 45,000. They've had a few games at the link, and they only got about 35,000. They did have that Barcelona Man U game in 2003 to open the stadium. I mean, that sold out. That was 65,000. That was before the link expanded by 3,000. But 65,000 people cheering for a game. Now you have the idea of the first ever soccer game to be played at Citizens Bank Park and played in a baseball stadium. And the idea of it starting at 6 o'clock, the game, but the whole event starting at noon, and they're having a youth game at 4 o'clock, Parade of Nations at 5. And when you say food trucks, I mean, you've got my attention. I mean, and they said that the food trucks are representing all the different nations, so show up with an appetite. I'm planning not to eat much Friday. Not going to eat much. I mean, my first meal is going to be about noon on Saturday. I might just skip dinner, maybe have a light lunch on Friday. But when you have these food trucks coming out, it's the best way to sample instead of going and sitting in a restaurant for 3 or 4 hours. Dude, if you want some Jamaican food, get a bite real quick. You can do the turnaround's probably, 15 minutes?
If that. 5 minutes. Food truck, that's what they're there for. Order.
Well, I meant talking from in-line, eating to next food truck. I don't know what the over-under is.
We'll see. 10 minutes. Tops.
So, and I think it's neat that we have a lot of people in this room that are different varieties, and in France, I mean, is there any of the concept of that? We always think of France, Seiji, as cafes and sitting down restaurants, as elegant restaurants and high-end, but is there any type of, what are you guys known for? I know you got crepes, but what's the fast, quick food in France if you want a quick bite?
To be honest with you, I think it's we're big on food, yeah, but there's not really a big difference than here.
Yeah.
The taste, I guess, is a bit different, but I like the food in America, to be honest with you. So
yeah.
Pretty much the same stuff. If I could bring some American stuff in France, I would, I would.
And we definitely know about your Mexican heritage, that you guys have got it cornered when it comes to food on the go, man.
Oh man, yeah, that's our thing. But yeah, in my opinion, I honestly think it's just those taco trucks, food trucks. Oh my god, those things are amazing. You have different kinds of meats. You have 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And you throw some hot, spicy stuff on it. So, oh man,
It caught my attention.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the neat part about in South Philly, where this event's been going on, there's a lot of Latino leagues in South Philly. Like John and I played on the same fields, but not in any Latino leagues. But some 4th in Washington, 4th and 12th in Federal, and those fields there. They have food trucks set up already there. They did food trucks before it was a thing. I remember when I first started eating off food trucks, a lot of my friends would come and, dude, what do you play soccer and eat off a food truck afterwards? Now it's once the hipsters started doing it, it's cool.
I mean, talk about close to the pitch. I mean, we're almost hitting the food truck with a clearance. I mean, they're right there.
People aren't even worried about the game result. As long as you can get your taco. As long as the taco truck's open after the game, I'm cool.
Everyone's happy.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's a win-win.
I think that's the best part of being in athletics and being in sports. When the game's over, your body's burned so much energy. You sometimes you just want to eat.
Exactly.
So check it out. Unity Cup this Saturday, November the 5th, Citizens Bank Park. The best part about it, free. So bring the family out, bring your friends out, and it's going to be a good time. I'm bringing out some people that don't even like soccer, but like I said, they like food. And they want to try all these different ethnic foods out. Can't go wrong with that. So check it out. Again, Philadelphia Unity Cup this Saturday, November the 5th. Open at noon, game at 6 p.m. Moving on, we're going to talk a little bit about women's soccer. There was some big news down under, that some Aussie news involving the W League. The W League is a very, very popular league for NWSL players, being that it is the exact opposite schedule, with their winter being, their summer being the same time as our winter. A lot of players go on loan, and we also get a lot of players from Australia playing here in the U.S. who's just announced that they're going to be broadcasting their games on good old ESPN3.
That's great. I mean, you get to watch them late at night. I mean, I think that's my thing is, I watch so many games.
And a lot of them are on
prime
demand,
time.
too.
Right, on demand. Watch them at your leisure. Pop them on, see the stars. Go down there, It's even though it's, quote, NWSL off-season, it's still prime season down there. And,
Oh, yeah.
And just watch the brand of soccer, and it's another thing. You can see the brand that the National League is bringing, the Australian women's national team. And Coach Canela said this before, in a couple of years, they're going to be bringing the heat.
Yeah.
They're working on a signature, I would say, a tactical
Well, they did beat Brazil last summer in the World Cup. They knocked Brazil out in Canada.
There you go.
So that they're a solid upbringing team. We saw what Tom Sermanni did for them for years. So definitely on the rise. And you automatically have that work ethic when you're talking about an Australian. I've never met an Australian soccer player who's been accused of being lazy and not hardworking.
No.
Like, they'll give you a full 90 every single game.
Right. It's almost, you might need an extra sub just because they're working. The work ethic is through the roof.
So that'll be very interesting. And we talk a lot about this on the show, and especially with UCG, that you're in France, that streaming games on the internet, kind of used to be a thing frowned upon. But if you look at a broadcast on television, you only reach those subscriber. But if you're broadcasting especially on a free platform with smart TVs and things like that, your family back in France can just hook up their internet and bang, watch you on a big screen.
Yeah, I wish even our games would be broadcasted. That would be great, so that my parents, my friends from France could enjoy watching us play. So
yeah, it's really,
that would be great.
The idea of the internet's really grown the game in a lot of ways. That really, if you have a decent camera with a hookup to a computer. I mean, that's the most basic, John. I mean, you're the technical guy, John, the broadcast guy. It's more than just internet and a camera, but really, I mean, that's kind of what it is.
I mean, not that I have any credentials of being any engineer, but technology is getting so easy for the casual consumer. I mean, everybody's got a cell phone that can just, most everybody's got a cell phone that you can just hit, your Twitter or Facebook and hit live, and bam, you're broadcasting to hundreds of people on your friend list.
Yeah, like CJ was talking about Snapchatting this. I mean, you have like 4 or 5 different applications that can put a game, and you fix, like they sell tripods for phones.
Hey. I mean, technology makes hacks on talking about soccer relevant, right?
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's become a reporter and the ability to broadcast. So, I mean, I love the idea and the concept of I've got a phone, I can watch the game. Well, the game's being broadcast on TV. Everybody says, well, we're on TV. I'm like, yeah, but I can't really watch all my TV stations on my phone. But when you have an application like your YouTube or your ESPN watches, it just I think grows the game, and then it does help. Smaller colleges like your D1, 2s, and 3s, a low-budget way to put their product out there.
It's easy enough nowadays. Hit live button, boom, stream. I mean, the cameras on the phones are HD quality.
Yeah, I remember some people used this when we first broke into this industry. Look at it like, what are you shooting pictures and videos with that for? And you show them the end product. I'm like, it films in HD.
Man, I remember, we're getting so old. We were before HD. We're almost on tape.
VCR. That's one of the old things, that there's certain forms of media and ways you watch and ways you have DVDs. I mean, things like that will definitely be a thing of the past. I used to always joke about, like, some of my first ever soccer games were games that we have friends, a couple guys I knew in my high school knew some guys. I had like an uncle over in England, so he would bring like suitcase full of VCR tapes home. So that's what we do in high school. We would wait for that guy to bring over the best 50 goals of the EPL for that year, and you just wait. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember that, like, growing up, but probably a little bit harder. I mean, soccer for you, CG, you grew up in France, so it was on every corner. But for us here in America, we didn't have a professional league start till '96, so there's a lot of time of just kind of waiting around for soccer.
I mean, not to go off, but I remember as a kid going to the mall and looking for that best of red cards, like 1992, and it would just be 20
Really? I've never seen that.
Yeah,
Best of red
somebody
cards.
would actually edit down just red card tackles.
That's the first thing I'm doing. That's the first
Yeah.
thing I'm doing. I bet Roy Keane was on a couple of those.
Easy.
Dude, he destroyed
Like,
people's careers.
It would be like the 2-footer special. And then,
Going in knee first.
yeah. But yeah, that's back in the, I wore them tapes out big time.
Crazy part that I loved about when I played in high school soccer, there was no yellow card accumulation.
Wow.
Yeah, see, I grew up in...
That's not a good thing.
No, for me it was.
Right?
It's like halfway through the game, I'm about like, man, I'm sitting around like maybe 70th minute, like thinking to myself, I haven't picked up a yellow card yet. I think I need to be doing something. I'm doing something wrong if I picked up a yellow, but you wouldn't worry about it now. It's become such a factor in the men and women's game that dictates play when you're sitting on that, because to me it's like, hey, you got the yellow card, that game's over with. It shouldn't carry over. That's just
man,
me.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
I have 7 yellow cards right now. If I get an 8th, I'm out for the next one. So
Yeah, watch what you say on radio
Gotta watch
tonight. Yeah, NCAA's listening.
A lot of hello, sir. Yeah. It's all good.
No, I'm kidding. No, but that's the thing is it can be argued both ways, whether it's a good or bad thing. But sticking on women's soccer, that Jill Ellis just announced her 24-player roster for the upcoming games in California, November 13th and in November 10th against Romania. And I looked up a fact, John, that U.S. women have never played Romania.
That's a good fact.
It's just I think the next thing I need to do is look up the history of Romanian women's soccer. Because a lot of these nations, they might be big nations and powerful soccer nations, but that doesn't mean that they had equality on the women's side to give them an opportunity. So it'll be interesting. And they're ranked 35th in the world. We're still ranked number 1, but
just looking at the way, how every time I talk about FIFA rankings, I always act like it's gospel, but really, what is it? It could be. But you got a team like Romania. Say Romania does draw the U.S. by chance.
You should lose points, dude. You should drop.
Romania's skyrocketed. By the way the criteria is
Yeah, if they just draw the U.S. They got to crack top 25.
That
you can get a result.
And that's, that could mean seedings. That could mean a lot of things.
Well, we always think it's interesting when you have, like, say, a Germany that comes into the World Cup, men and women ranked number 1, but they don't win that tournament, but they still retain their number 1 spot. It's like the college, the national champion, dude. No matter what, they finish the season number 1.
Yeah, it's those.
Because women, not that I want our women to be ranked number 1, but we didn't win the World Cup this past summer. Shouldn't we kind of drop out of that spot?
Well,
yeah, it's debatable.
We could debate that.
It is debatable.
We just got to figure out what the formula is: strength of schedule, teams played, goal differential, field conditions.
It's like slugging percentage in baseball.
Pretty much. There's a lot that goes into it, but we don't take too much, accountability for their table, but just a good gauge.
Yeah.
Especially for big tournaments. Just the seedings, just to see where they're putting the U.S. at. But Romania,
big opportunity for them.
What are you looking for? Like, what are we looking for? Are we looking for one special player? Are we looking for some special formation?
What, for the U.S. side or your Romanian side?
Romanian. Let's look at the other side coming in.
Yeah, I look at the other side coming in. You want to look at a player that can hang, not just hang for 45. We've seen several countries that can hang with USA for 45 minutes. If you look at all these games, people take USA 0-0, 1-0, or to the half, but who can hang for 90 minutes? We've rarely seen it, but you really have to play to the U.S. weaknesses. You really have to sit on the ball like Sweden does. If you can find some good holding midfields,
right,
for Romania, they can just withstand the battle and have just a good counter. That's the way Sweden beat us as a counter. You have to have a streaky winger or two.
I couldn't even, I would even break it down a little bit smaller than 45 minutes. I would say, give me a good 20.
Okay.
With the starting core, then make your substitution. Make it early. It's a friendly. We got unlimited substitutions. Bring in the young kids, see what they can do. But break it down a little bit further. 45. It's tough to run. A Romania running with any top 10 team is tough for the first half. So half that. Give it your first 20 minutes, and then then start making your subs and piece it out. But it's just, you can't play. You can't have a slugfest against a team like the U.S., especially when you got your kids coming up playing and they're hungry to score and
they're trying
show
to...
what they can do. Mm-hmm. So you just got to, it's got to be strength through the midfield, because the defenders, you can't have one defender against the U.S. strikers. It's just how it is, unless they're going to bring their veterans in there.
I think the other hand you look at it is, if you're Romania, that you try to play your formula and try to play your chemistry and works for you, and not so much worry about the U.S. That's the neat part about friendlies, that you have so many of these friendlies to experiment with. And same thing with Jill. She doesn't, not that she doesn't care about the results, but she's bringing in 5 players that will get in there, that basically are coming to their second camp. And then she's bringing in only 5 veterans. So it's a very mix. You've got 5 players. Like I said, this is only their second camp of the U.S. Their first camp was just a few weeks ago against the 2 games against Switzerland. So you have a lot of inexperienced players, but we're still, about 2.5, maybe close to about maybe 2.8 years from the next World Cup. So we got 2.5 years to experiment, try these players out. Like, I love that Lynn Williams was invited back to camp. That's huge. let's be honest, you have a lot of players that are aging. In 3 years, are they going to be good enough to be on that roster? I mean, they might make the roster based on their name, but are they going to be physically good enough or mentally good enough?
I mean, real quick, you want to go through a little roster talk while you got it up?
Yeah, we got the goalkeepers. Adriana Franch from Portland. She's bounced around in the NWSL, but Mark Parsons did a great job in developing her this year. I mean, they unfortunately lost in the semifinals at home, but, I mean, that's a goalkeeper that, I mean, some of her professional career was in doubt. There were teams that, I mean, she bounced around for a little bit. So, I mean, that's the great part about Mark Parsons, why he was named NWSL player, coach of the year, is you take a player, you develop them, bang, you put him, now she's national team keeper. Ashlyn Harris, Orlando Pride, we've seen what she's done. She's done a great job years backing up Hope Solo. And Alyssa Nair, she was on the World Cup roster last summer, not on the Olympic roster because only could bring 2. So be very interesting to see, who gets the play time. That's the thing, you got 3 keepers, 2 games.
That's right. Let's see them all.
Yeah. So definitely would like to see a little rotation there. Looking at the mid defenders, Abby Dahlkemper from Western New York Flash, definitely a lot of Flash players. They did just win a championship, so sure. Bringing those players off that high and showing what they do, continuing that success onto the pitch, I think will be a great thing. Janelle Hinkle from Western New York Flash also in, a great defender. That Flash back line, what Paul Riley did with that back line, defense wins championships.
And it did.
Yeah. Julie Johnston, the veteran who was out the last camp, inserted to this camp. Good to have a veteran leader in there that won a World Cup. It's good to have that player like that. Megan Klingberg,
staple in the U.S. squad.
Yeah, dude. Like, just right back, left back. She's got it locked down. Good to have her back there. Allie Krieger, another staple in there in that wonderful World Cup run. Kelly O'Hara, defender, but also a defender that can play that wing and can really play, right mid, left mid, can really run the wing. I mean, she's listed as a defender, but she's a player you definitely can put as a high midfielder.
That's right.
Also, Becky Sauerbrunn from Kansas City. I mean,
the captain.
Yeah, center back, one of the best center backs in the world. And Casey Short from Chicago Red Stars, definitely a surprise call-up, but definitely a player that you have to keep your eye on because youth. I mean, 3 years. Look at all these players' names and add 3 years to their names.
That's right.
Some of the defenders there.
Household names.
Yeah, exactly. Midfield, Morgan Bryan. I mean, it's hard to believe that she's only been playing professional about 1.5 years now. Or 2 years, just finished up her second season. But, I mean, straight out of UVA, number 1 pick, Houston Dash a year ago, was an impact right away in the World Cup. So, good pick. Christian Edmonds out of Portland. Or not Portland, sorry. Orlando Pride. Definitely had a great season. So, definitely a lot of respect there. I like what Tom Sermani's doing down there. Tobin Heath. I mean, she's there to break some ankles and call some crossovers, highlights. I mean, I think she everybody knows how good she is, but I think she's one of the best players on the U.S. roster. She does all the fancy work to set up goals. Lindsey Haran out of Portland, definitely another good pick. Allie Long. Shout out to Allie Long, just got married this weekend.
Okay.
So, yeah. There is one midfielder that is getting married in November that is not on this roster. We'll see if these boys can guess it.
Oh, man.
Oh, throwing them on the spot.
I only know one player. That's
yeah,
it.
you know the French players. They're the ones that are hosting the next World Cup, man. Watch out for them.
I didn't even know that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but at least you're being honest. But Carly Lloyd will be missing from the midfield. She's going to step away to get married, so I think they'll be all right. Samantha Muse out of the Flash, another Flash player who's got a ton of height up top. I mean, I've seen her listed as 5'10". I've met her several times personally. You can pull up an interview. I think she's taller than me, and I don't understand how she's listed at 5'10", and I know that I'm taller than 5'10". I don't know if in old age my arthritic bones are crumbling, but no. Muse, 5'10", a beast in the box. I mean, definitely a pick. Megan Rapinoe, who missed the last camp, Seattle Reign, who's I think hasn't had that huge spark since coming back after the knee surgery. So really hoping her career can get turned around here and she can still be around for a while. And Andy Sullivan out of Stanford. So got the college kid there. Forwards, Crystal Dunn, just Miss MVP, scores goals left and right. Definitely knows she will be on all rosters moving forward. She was one of the surprise players that was left off the World Cup roster last summer, but on the Olympic team. She's not going anywhere. Alex Morgan, definitely a good veteran up there. I know that she's getting near the end of her career. I know people out there are going to probably butcher me for this, jumping me on social media, but I think she's getting near the end of her career. Kayla Ohai from the Dash is in. She scored her first goal. Fastest goal as a sub second game against Sweden. Kristen Press, definitely be around for a long time. Lynn Williams, well, I wouldn't mind seeing score again. I think that's the future right there, goal scorer right there, Lynn Williams.
Well, she's scoring in championships and on national team, so I think that she might have her place on the team. I think she's making a strong case for upcoming tournaments.
Yeah.
So.
And I made a mathematical correction.
Let's go.
Or made a mathematical correction. I'm going to correct my mathematical error. Romania is ranked 36.
36.
Yeah. I gave them a little more respect. I put them at 35.
Hey. Draw, bring them up to 31.
So that's some of your women's soccer news. And like we had said at the top of the hour, and we were talking about women's soccer, that ESPN3 W League. Check it out. If you're just tuning in, this is WPPM LP, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. You're listening to World Sports Show. I'm Charlie Flowe with John DiCriscio, CG Rhodes. I called you CG Rhodes. That sounds like a wrestler. CG Rose.
Yeah.
So, how do you say rose in French?
Rose.
Oh.
Seiji Rose.
But is it spelled the same?
Yeah.
Oh, Rose, I know some French now.
There you go.
Mando. How do you say rose in Spanish? I know it's Flowe, it's flower, but is there a particular
rosa.
word?
Rosa.
Una rosa, yeah.
Rosa.
Yeah.
Rodear. So that's pretty
roll
cool.
the R.
So a lot to talk about again tonight. We still haven't got to the mailbag at all. We're going to talk to these young men about their college careers and what they've done. So I think it's time to crack open the old mailbag, Johnny.
Mailbag at worldsportshow.com. Send them in. We check them. We don't, going back to previous shows, especially last show, I do shut off the sounder on the on my laptop probably about 11 o'clock because they do ping in and I get the alert. And I do need my sleep. I need my beauty rest.
Yes,
I need
you
a
do.
lot of beauty rest.
Yeah, especially where you're looking right now.
I do.
So mailbag at worldsportshow.com. Send your emails over. We decided we'll take a soccer-related question, and we're going to throw it some Halloween. A lot of Halloween questions. We're going to have some fun tonight, man. It's Halloween.
Ooh.
Soccer-related Halloween questions. Why not? So, Devin from Media, Pennsylvania asks, how would you grade the Philadelphia Union season?
Devin.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. How would you grade it? You're talking like F to A.
Wow, you're putting me on the spot. You're putting me
Hey,
on
you can put me on the spot, dude.
a general question. I put their food. Nah. Give them
Put it back to food. Well, your season was lacking, but luckily you had some good food, so I'll be back.
Wow, that's a general question. I mean, it's tough to.
Hey, man, the fans.
Let me look at the clock here. 28 minutes to give you my grade. I mean, it's opening up a can of worms. I did watch a lot of being a season ticket holder, and I did get to check out a lot of games in person and on TV and DVRing them with the magic of cable television. Got to check them out, the away games. It was a tough ending. I mean, being in first place most of the year and fading out, getting to playoffs. I mean, I think the goal with every major league team is to make the playoffs. So, I mean, it hurts when you kind of come down on a decline at the end of the year. But overall, I'm talking back. If I made notes, if I wrote a journal, going back towards, making plays for free agents, national team players, injuries, where we were last year with the, I do see promise, overall, I'm going to say, it's just tough. I mean, I'm looking in between a C+ and a B-. I mean, I think they can get over the hump. This is a man. I'm spinning my wheels here, trying to get the right term to paint that accurate picture. I think if I'm grading it, they're at a club that they're at a this year they could make a splash and be great, or they could stay the same and just make the playoffs, and teeter along or not make the playoffs. Because the reason why I say that is other clubs are signing big players and big talents coming in. And that's just the way that Major League Soccer is trending. I mean, if you're to go out and spend, Giovinco or somebody, Lampard or David Villa, you're going to get production. And, their major signing a couple years back was on the shelf for the entire year, and that's a crucial part as a midfielder. And, getting a national team player in here help. But, it's a, injury plague. But, I mean, good rookie campaign from a couple rookies at defender back, but I mean, it's just tough when your scorer's not scoring. I mean, but making the playoffs, and I will, every fan wants a home playoff game. So I think they fell a little short there, but they still made the playoffs. So, it's subjective. I can, people, they're still a little bit bitter and want to give a bad grade, but you go back a couple months and they're going to give a good grade. So I just said a whole lot of nothing in about a minute and a half.
You gave the grade, though.
But, I'm just so basically my thing is, nowadays you need a big signing, or you need to address the weak links. Every club does, but it's at the top level. The money teams are buying money players, and that's just how it's going to be. It's how it's been forever, and you just got to play the game.
Yeah, I definitely agree with your C plus B minus. I was thinking in my mind B minus, and it's the thing is they had a potential of an A. You're looking in May and June right at the top of the table. And we're looking at, hey, you're going to get a bye. You're not going to play the knockout round. And I guess we knew they were going to get into the playoffs because all the things that could have gone wrong didn't go wrong. I mean, they would have had to lose by 12-some goals in that last game.
Right.
But, I mean, I went to the last 2 games, and they both were lost. And it left a bitter taste because I went midseason a couple games, saw some really great games. Even against Toronto, the games all of us here went as a team. We saw them lose, but there was a lot more poise there. And that game they lost against Toronto, I think it was 3-1 they lost when they played Toronto. We all went as a team. And I think it was a much different team there. They were competitive. And it just seemed those last 2 games, losing against Red Bulls and what was the other game they lost, John? They lost about Red Bulls in the last game and Orlando, a team that's not even in the playoffs. I mean, I know they got Kaká and they got that factor in there, but to me, it's like limping into the playoffs.
Right.
Coming into the playoff off of back-to-back 2-3 zip losses is so hard to say those games are meaningless because you were already kind of in the playoffs, but nobody likes to get in the playoffs on a loss.
I mean, I think one thing you can gauge from a season like this is you can see where the supporters with the culture background come from rather than people who just, game day show-ups. Because, normally game day show-ups are they want to go see the team when they're winning and, jump in the bandwagon, which is fine and great. But you could see, towards the end of the year, there was a lot of fans who were diehard fans, and they were still...
Well, they were living and breathing with it, man.
Living and breathing, and, they were showing their support. I mean, when you got a team that comes down at the end of the season, it takes a little bit of life out of the crowd. But, I mean, it's still a young club. Remind you, I can make excuses or whatever, but, I'm not an excuse maker. I could.
And as much as I hated making that prediction last week, I was right. I said they'd lose 3-1.
Yeah, you were spot on.
I just felt it. They were primed to get a goal, but it's just Josie Altidore. He's a beast.
Yeah,
he's the beast. When it's funny, wanting to be a beast for your national team, and then when he puts on that Toronto jersey, dude, I don't want you doing anything.
I mean, to be honest, it's tough to go. The league's set on home games. Home team usually wins.
Yeah.
And you can look across the board this week. We'll touch on it.
That's another thing that killed the Union. Their road record was horrendous this season. Took care of business at home.
Yeah.
But you got to pick up some wins on the road.
Yeah. I mean, that was a focal point coming in, take care of business at home. But, this week in Major League Soccer playoffs, every home team had a shutout, 4 games.
Yeah, you look at just the knockout stage alone itself. I mean, home team got through Toronto 3-1. LA goes through 3-1. Now, the only one road team that didn't go through was DC United. They get beat 4-2. If you're looking at the box score, look a little deeper. Montreal was up 4-0 going into the 90th minute. DC scored both their goals in stoppage time. So, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have predicted that. I could have predicted Montreal beating DC United, but not putting up 4 goals.
Oh, wow.
4 goals, and then DC just puts up garbage goals. I mean, that's the thing is the knockout stage is you play that year hard, play so hard all year to get that 3 seed, and bang, you're bounced in one game. And then Seattle with a great game against Sporting Kansas City. That was last Thursday night. 10 o'clock, about 10:15 our time kickoff. Kept me up till almost 12:30 at night, man. That was a great game.
Our time kickoff.
Yeah, our time kickoff. So
that's not Eastern
the thing.
Standard no more. It's our time kickoff.
Our time. Yeah. Oh, we're just official. It's our time.
OTK.
And then you look going into the weekend. New York beat Red Bulls 1-0 in the first leg. So that's the thing too. It's a 2-leg process here. LA finds a way to win. LA in the playoffs. I mean, I read some record last night about some ridiculous record Bruce Arena has when scoring the first goal. Something like 24 or 23-0-0 in the playoffs when scoring the first goal. So it just, LA just shows up. I mean, now you got whatever Landon Donovan. You heard of him? He's back playing for them.
He's back winning with them.
Exactly. He's not doing those commercials anymore. Whatever. Dono Van. And Toronto blanks New York City 2-0. Seattle blanks Dallas 3-0. So, I mean, really, New York and Colorado, the only teams that really have a shot. I really think that Toronto and Seattle are through. It's just, that's a lot to ask teams to do when you put them in that first leg in the hole.
That's it. That's why they come out blazing like that.
That's the weird thing is, though, I kind of like the idea of being the road team. The lower seed gets the first game. You set the tone.
That's it.
I mean, I like that idea. You get that first home game. A lot of people think the way the seedings are that, you know, it's that advantage to have that second game at home. But you go in a second game, know what you do, that, hey, as much as we hate the term, Seattle can park the bus, man. They can lose 2-0 and still go through.
Yeah.
A lot easier said than done, right?
Like it goes back, I said if no team should get points on a 0-0 draw.
Yeah.
No team. You don't
I like
play
that
it.
idea.
I've been saying you don't play at home for a draw.
That's right. If it was a 2-2 draw, you both will split a point. But a 0-0, you're both losers. Kind of like that NFL game ended a tie. Sorry. We're going to put a loss in both of your columns.
Yeah, right.
So, got some other mailbag questions here. I buried them within my own questions. I got my stack of questions. All right, here we got Frank from Fishtown. Favorite Halloween candy? We'll go around the room, boys. Who wants to take this one? Favorite Halloween candy?
Oh man,
It's a lot to choose from, Mando.
It's a good question to ask athletes.
Yeah, and ask one of your coaches. Your coaches in the room.
Coach, hold your ears. We're talking a fun-size piece.
Yeah,
The little
we
ones.
got a playoff
Little
game
ones,
tomorrow. You'll eat it. I'll eat it November 1st after the game, Coach. I'll get it tonight, but no, favorite candies. I mean, that's a lot to choose from.
Well, for me, it would have to be Skittles. I'm a big Skittles guy. I love Skittles.
Me, I discovered Swedish fish when I came here.
In America, he comes to America.
I really like Swedish fish. Yeah, very good, very good.
Those are tough ones, man. Both good.
Well, since I don't have a playoff game tomorrow, and before I came here, I had about 8 choices I was handing out.
Was it you eat one, give one out?
I was making sure, ensuring the
product.
parents that everything was good. It's called Take 5. I'm just saying.
Oh, man, that's a good candy bar.
It's like got a piece of pretzel in there. And it's a Philadelphia, and I love pretzels. And it has a piece of pretzel, like chocolate and pretzel.
Yeah.
Best combo ever.
Yeah,
And then everything, but Skittles are up there.
Oh, man, Skittles.
Skittles.
I mean, you always think of Marshawn Lynch, you know. So, yeah, and Swedish fish, you can't go wrong with that. That's the good part about going to IKEA. They always got bags of Swedish fish. You can buy the big, heavy bags, but... Now, growing up a kid, I always like Butterfinger, but being in Philadelphia the last 20 years, really gotten really addicted to peanut chews.
Okay.
And that's a Philadelphia thing. Peanut chews, you guys ever had that?
No, I don't even know what is it.
Any of you, any peanut allergies?
No.
All right, then I'll have to bring you guys some peanut chews. It's an old Philadelphia.
After the season.
Yes. We plan to play deep into the playoffs, so, you know, but. So, favorite Halloween candies. All right, Tammy. Oh, thanks, Frank from Fishtown. Tammy from Cherry Hill. For Halloween, do your best character voice.
Character voice. Ooh.
Hey, now this is fun radio. It's Halloween. John, you got any character voices?
I'll think of one real quick while you guys are going around the room.
Oh.
Same.
Very good.
No, that's not from the Yoda.
Stop.
Bad for radio, man. Ratings are dropping, man.
That's right.
They can do accents, man. I'll do a French accent and see how CG can grade it. Like, how butchered would I get in France? Like, les Americans, they talking the French accent, it's acting like a fool on the radio. They are like Formula 1.
You sound a touch like Scandinavian.
Yeah, it's like another language actually that you're doing. I don't know.
I think that was the most interesting in the world. Is that he can speak French in a Russian accent. it's like wow.
That's epic.
Yeah, speaking French in a Russian accent. Why not? You know.
My English is terrible enough, so let alone.
Oh,
putting an
we'll do
accent on it.
Romania. We did talk about Romania earlier. The Transylvania, you know, from Romania. Is that how all Romanians talk?
That's exactly how it's going to sound for the U.S.-Romania game. Just
I am
like
broadcasting the game from California in the Romanian radio.
We're trying to build bridges with the Unity Cup and everything. You're just like burning them down.
Romania will not in the tournament next year. You offend them.
Stop. So what's my next mailbag?
Oh, you just got out of that character voice.
I pass on.
Dude, I did it enough for everybody here.
Yeah.
Favorite Halloween movie?
Ooh, Halloween movie.
Favorite Halloween movie? or I mean, you could say, or Halloween-ish that can pass as scary, spooky-ish.
Okay, so we're talking, like
Kind of scary movie, dead people, creepy things,
I was always
ghosts.
a fan of Freddy.
Freddy.
Oh, man,
Yeah,
Freddy,
man,
old,
Freddy, man,
Freddy
that-
old school, man. That was.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't sleep at night.
I'll go with not to jump
No,
on,
we
but
can go, like,
Freddy, like as a growing up as a kid,
Yeah.
like that was a classic.
Yeah,
Like
of course.
that was to me. It was like
Even I would watch it now. It wasn't even like, yeah. So
Jason movies always got me, man. Jason, Freddy. But like cult hero movies, I love Goonies, man. I feel like that's the kind of Halloween theme. Pirates and trying to get treasure and stuff.
scary. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit scary if you're a kid.
Too scared. I don't like to watch scary movies.
Is there like any famous ones in France that are like, or
Or
you guys probably still get a lot of adapted like U.S. movies, but then they kind of subtitled over or
yeah,
something?
we have the same ones in French,
Yeah.
but I don't recall watching a Halloween movie.
Yeah.
I've never.
Huh.
No.
Wow.
Scary movies I rarely watch too because I just don't like them.
Yeah, I don't like them either, dude, man. Especially by yourself, man. So, yeah, so that's Mailbag brought to you by us at World Sports Show. So, but thank you, Ted, for favorite movie question. No address where you're from, so maybe Ted's out in the internet world somewhere. So, thank you, Ted. Tammy from Terry Hill, Frank from Fishtown, and Devin from Media. Thank you for your questions. We're going to turn the page and do a little getting to know these guys here. CG Roge and God dang, I can't get that right, man. That's a tough one. CG Rose and Mando Canela, which I learned earlier is Spanish for cinnamon.
yes, that is correct.
So he is a sweet guy. I can tell you, he's a really nice guy. I don't know, is cinnamon actually sweet? I know it's always mixed with stuff. So, but you are a senior here at Philadelphia University. We are in Philadelphia, so it's very fitting to be broadcasting on a Philadelphia station, talking about Philadelphia University. And you're from Central Massachusetts. That's a little bit of hike from home. What brought you here to Philadelphia University?
Well, I just want to say, Marlborough, Massachusetts. That's where I'm from.
Okay.
But honestly, I got recruited by the head coach here at Philadelphia University, Tom Myers. Such a great guy, such a great character. He's just amazing, and I mean, he honestly just pretty much convinced me, persuaded me to come to them. It was he said it's a working class. We want to start to build up, and for me personally, I actually really like that kind of stuff, building up and helping the team to win championships. And we got 2 of them first 2 years.
Yeah, and 14 was the last championship, I believe, right? 'Cause
Yes.
I'm new to the program. It's my first year coaching the program, so I mean, it's definitely been a challenging season. And how do you balance your life as a student athlete, making sure you take care of academics, but then, we got games like that. We're on the road where you'll miss all day of class tomorrow, and that work doesn't disappear. You still got to come back to it.
Of course. And it is difficult, I'm not going to lie, but a lot of professors in our university at least are very flexible, are very helping in turning work late. Just like you said,
Yeah.
that work does not disappear. You still need to make it up, but it's just the time frames that they give you, they are a little bit more lenient.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's just amazing as a student athlete, because you're honestly just doing twice as much as work and the same amount of time as everyone else. But it's tough, but you get it done. And yeah, it's good.
And CG Rose here is a junior at Philadelphia University, and you're from France. Is it Toulouse, France?
Yeah, Toulouse. Yeah.
Now, where part, because I'm not familiar exactly what part regionally of France, so where would that be near?
It's southwest of France. We are separated by Spain with the Pyrenees.
Wow.
So really, really south. Yeah.
Wow. How close to the beach?
The closest one would be maybe an hour away.
Wow, that's awesome. Kind of like the same spot you're here in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
About an hour away
exactly,
from the beach.
actually,
so,
yeah.
So growing up, I mean, what was the style of play like, growing up as a kid, now coming here to America? Because you knew what you were getting into here, Mando. You've been familiar with the American style of play of soccer, but what was the biggest adjustment for you playing here in America?
I think that the American game is very physical. Just Americans are fast, are stronger, taller, I feel like, too. Just stronger people in general.
It's all that food truck, man.
Yeah, it's the food. And so, yeah, I think that it's really focused on physical ability, and that's why I had to adapt. Now I feel comfortable in America to play, and I like it a lot. Yeah.
Now, we talk about Mando coming from a hike away in Massachusetts, but he can at least get home in a day's drive. But coming from France, how did you hear about this program, and what led you to coming here?
Actually, my mom.
Yeah, good mom then, right?
Because what happened is I wanted to try and go pro in France at 19 years old for a team, but I think that that everything worked out good. I went to America thanks to my mom. Like I said, we went to a camp, and then a few coaches saw me and then emailed me, and Coach Ta in particular really, so the coach from Philadelphia University really showed me that he wanted me to come and would help me to get to the next level, and so I trusted him, and I'm really happy I did.
Defensive Player of the Year.
Really?
Yeah, Conference Defensive Player of the Year. Yes,
Yeah.
you did.
How did I
Seiji
miss that?
Rose.
I'm a bad coach.
Today I just got it. Actually,
Oh, just got it today.
Yeah.
I was so busy trick or treating. I apologize.
No problem.
Really?
Yeah,
Defensive
I
Player of the
woke
Year?
up and actually, Paris Dawkins from the.
Did you think it was a joke at
woman-
first? Like-
Yeah, I was like, she was like, "Congratulations!" I don't know why.
You're like, thanks for what?
Thanks for what exactly? And she said, "Well, you got Defensive Player of the Week and of the year and
Not just the week, the year. That's
the year.
Yeah.
It's quite a
and,
few weeks.
What's it called? First team." So I was like, "Thank you."
Wow.
yeah.
That's pretty amazing. Now, have you always played defense or back? Or are you more midfield?
I like to play the 6.
Okay.
But when I played my last year in France for my soccer school, I was playing center back.
Oh, wow.
So Coach Ta knew that I was playing center back, but
Yeah.
he recruited me. I think more as a center mid, but I like both, to be honest.
What I think is the neat part about the listeners out there that CG's pretty much been half of our offense.
Yeah.
And that's the neat part. When
Yeah.
it comes to free kicks, I mean, you've probably got about a 75% conversion ratio this season, maybe 80%. Maybe I'll push it up a little bit, but that's the neat part about free kicks. If you're a guy that can put a free kick in the back of the net, it doesn't matter if you're playing center back because if it goes in the net, stoppage of play.
My question for Seiji is at practice about how many set pieces do you practice each to keep sharp?
Ooh.
Well, actually, I noticed that when I practice them less, I shoot better, just because I was trying to really focus on form, and it worked like that, and it worked really well this year. So I think I'm just going to continue doing that, to be honest.
I see a lot of you take a lot of time to meditate and kind of is it a visual thing or is it just relaxing yourself? What do you go through in that moment? Because every free kick person takes it a little bit different. I'm kind of a rush kind of guy when I do my free kicks. I would just rush myself through, but you just kind of take it calm. Like, because when I coach, like, take the kick. You're just in your own little world there.
Yeah, I feel like I just put the ball down, try to really memorize the form. Like I said, really repeat what I do.
Yeah.
And this year worked 4 times. So yeah. But last year I wasn't lucky. I hit the bar and the post a lot. But this year, luckily, I was
On point.
on point.
Yeah,
Yeah, with
so-
those free kicks.
Now being a captain on the field, Mando, we've had these games where we've had a lot of tough refereeing and a lot of vocal, but one thing I've noticed about you is you never stop fighting, no matter what the score. I mean, we had our game against earlier last week where we won a playoff game, and it's just the fact that you push guys and you never get on guys for negativity. And wearing that captain's armband, I've always loved playing for a captain that just pushes his players and doesn't criticize in the heat of the battle. Like, where does that come from in you?
Honestly, that's just. I'm gonna have to give my parents a lot of credit on
Yeah.
that. It's just really the way how I was raised and the way how they taught me, because they brought me to numerous amount of soccer games. They would always tell me the rights and wrongs and the way how I should act inside the field. So honestly, that's just my parents, especially my dad and my mom. Yeah, both of them. So equally, and it's just there's really no reason to get down on them. You just want to bring the best out of them, so that whole team, your whole squad, can get out of that place with the W, and just show that all that hard work you put in before that match, shows up.
One thing I have to say about you is that it's interesting that you will be taped with all the possible tape that the trainers have. and this is the hardest guy to get off the field when he's injured. It's just one of the things where, and same thing with Seiji, that just that battling thing about playing through that pain and playing through that injury, just it's something addictive about being on the field, and just even though you got that pain, but when you get those wins, it's just gone for a few moments.
For a few moments, yeah. It's actually this year I've probably had around 3 injuries.
Yeah.
Within
that's a low round. I was going to round up to close to like 8. You know?
I don't know. I don't know
if Georgia Court's listening. I want the scouts out there.
But yeah, honestly, I've had more injuries this season than I've had any other years prior to this. Very unlucky, but I mean, it's just that will of wanting to play and just go out there and make a difference. That's what I'm all about. And even if I have it, like an aching injury or whatever, I try to push through it and do it for the team, honestly, because this is my senior year and that's all I got left.
We've only got a few minutes left in the show, and remind everybody listening to WPPM LP, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And this is World Sports Show. I'm Charlie Flowe with John DiCriscio. And we're just wrapping up a couple interviews with 2 soccer players from Philadelphia University, Mando Canela and Seiji Rose. Now, before we wrap it up, I want to ask you guys each this question. Something that Philadelphia University did was quite an amazing feat, that we are the 7th seed in the playoffs, but I think you have to overlook the number of seed and look at what we did is win 4 out of our last 5 games to get in the playoffs. And if the season was started the other way around, hey, that would have put you at the top. And I think that going in with that confidence, what does that do for each of you going into tomorrow's match, knowing that, hey, we can beat anybody in this conference?
Well, to be honest with you, all these games that we went through, losing at the beginning and now winning, it just prepared us for tomorrow. And I know that tomorrow we're ready to go to Georgian Court and get that W. I don't want it to be the last game for one of my best friends that I made here in America, Mando, and also Paolo, who's another senior, and I don't want to lose. We're all about winning at PhilaU, and so we're gonna go there confident for sure. I guarantee that it's gonna be a good game.
And like you said, Charlie, I mean, we won the last 4 out of our 5 games, and that honestly that's like a playoff environment for us.
Yeah.
We literally
we were on 1 game elimination every week.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, just having that mentality of, hey, we got to win these next games to at least survive. And, I mean, we've been doing it for the past 5 games, and hopefully it just continues and continues.
Just got to grind it.
Thank you, young men, for coming in. And
thank you.
Can't keep you too late. I am your coach, so I got to make sure you get to bed on time, So, but no, all the guys out there listening, can't wait to see you guys tomorrow morning. Have a nice breakfast together, do some breakdown of the game, and hit the road.
Let's
and
get that
it's going to be a long day. And John, that's truly informative character tonight. And Mando getting some social media done for us, So,
That's right.
I have to.
What application are you on there? I see you.
Just on my phone.
Okay.
Camera.
Okay, I don't know if you were Snapchatting, extra broadcast. We'll take any type of publicity, any type of extra broadcast. But again, thank you guys for listening. World Sports Show on WPPM LP, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm Charlie Flowe. Our producer is John DiCriscio, also the man in the horrible whatever paint job tonight.
That's right.
So everybody listen out there. We'll be back next week, same time, 9 o'clock on Monday, November the 7th. Keep sending in your question, radio@worldsportshow.com.